Hey guys, before I bring you to today's great content, I want to remind you of a few things. Number one, we're in the month of June, which is the last month of quarter number 2 for 2024. The next thing I want to remind you is that means that you have just one more month to take advantage of our Pro Web initiative, which is basically saving you 50% on a brand new website that's fully functional, has a scheduler, and a host of other things there. So if you don't want to miss out on this opportunity, click on the Pro Web link below in the show notes and find out more about this wonderful promotion. Once again, we are ending this promotion as of June 30th, 2024. And I don't want you to miss out. So head on over to the show notes, look for the Pro Web link, click on it, and get all the information right then and there. So until then, enjoy the content.
Hello and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Law Firms, the podcast that provides you with all the latest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are looking to substantially increase your caseload in the next 6 months, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello, everyone. This is Frank Deming, the local business guy. Welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Law Firms. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day, everyone. I hope you guys are having a rockin' week thus far. Today, I'm gonna get a little bit away from our normal marketing topics or attorney topics, if you will. And I want to talk about something that I don't think we talk about enough when it comes to business growth. And I'm talking about coaching. And on the other side of this microphone, I've got a dynamo that I want to introduce you to. And of course, I'm talking about the great Andrea Liebross. How's it going, Andrea?
It's going great, the great Frank Deming.
You know what? I've never had someone bring that back to me. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Awesome sauce. Now, I've already said a few things about you, and I know you're a coach and everything, but I don't want to mess up giving you what, giving you your flowers, if you will. I'd rather you say, who are you and what do you do?
Okay. So I am Andrea Liebross. That is a true statement. I work with primarily female business owners. Some men sneak in there, here and there. And I work with them in an online space. They're all across the country in a variety of industries, although a lot of them happen to be attorneys. And I'm really helping them get a grip on their business. And most come to me with a successful business, a profitable business. No one's fallen apart. You might want to say like nothing's really gone wrong, but in their head, it's going wrong and it feels very heavy and they want to grow or they may be at a scale point even, and they just kind of don't know what to do because what they've done in the past, it no longer works. That's a cliche, but it's true. And I think kind of my secret sauce, so to speak, is to help them think bigger beyond what's happening today, kind of access I call it their future you of what they do want this to look like, what's their vision of where they want to go, and then help them translate it into action steps. And that's where the kind of the rubber hits the road. It's like, okay, yeah, I have all these great ideas, but now what? So what actions do we need to take? Because ultimately, many business owners get into business. Yes, they want to serve their audience. They maybe are passionate about what they're doing, but they also see it as a way to create a little more freedom in their lives and not have to, work for someone else. They're working for themselves, and they realize that, hey, this isn't what I thought I signed up for. Like, I feel like I am tied to my computer 24 hours a day. This
Mm-hmm.
is feeling really hard. Yeah, clients are coming in. A lot of times that's not necessarily the issue, but now what do I do with them all? Do I have enough staff? Do I need to hire people? Are people doing their jobs? Things like that. So helping them kind of create that freedom that they crave and they deserve, and wrapping their head around how that's going to happen.
Mm. That is awesome, because when something that I did not know, I did a little research on you, but you said something there that I did not know.
Oh, tell me.
You said that you work with people who are already successful. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this, because the topic of this conversation is what it means to think big and where to start. That leads me to believe that it's someone who's not that successful yet, because aren't they already thinking big? That's how they got there.
Well, they might have got there from the beginning, right? So when someone starts a business, they're like, okay, I'm doing this because I want to be successful, right? Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not doing it with the intention that this is going to fail.
A failing,
But
yeah. Mm-hmm.
but they come to me in a place of what I call stuck stress. Okay. So on paper, things may look okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But how they feel about it is not so okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they're in stuck stress. When you're in stuck stress, you're not thinking big. You can't, I say you can't even access your genius brain. Okay. You're like in your own box, and
Mm-hmm.
you can't think beyond. It's like, I'm just trying to get through day by day, man. I can't think beyond this. So when you can't think beyond this, you're just thinking small. You're not necessarily taking advice from, I call future you. So let's pretend future you is feeling great about business,
Mm-hmm.
feeling great and looking great. That looks great on paper and it feels great. That future you, a year from now, 3 years from now, what would that future you tell you to do today?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And if you're kind of in your own, like getting in your own way, you can't even go talk to that future you. It seems like, hey, I don't have time for that, or I'm not sure I can even do that. I'm just trying to survive today. So you're in stuck stress, can't access the genius brain. Things feel confusing and overwhelming. You're not sure what decisions to make. What's the next best step? Can we push that into what I call progress stress? Okay, where like life is stressful. So we're not saying it's all going to be rainbows and daisies. So can we push that into progress stress where you're still asking like what if questions? So it's normal for us to ask what if questions, but the answers to the what if questions aren't what if this doesn't go well, or what if I can't get past this place? The answers to the what if questions are like, what if this does go well? What if bringing that other person on, implementing that new marketing strategy is exactly what I need? Right. So that like your brain is switching the answer to the what if question, or how you're asking it, when you switch into this progress stress, which big thinkers do. You're also committed. You're back to being where you were kind of in the beginning, committed and motivated and determined. And you're taking action. And like as we take action, the we the stress actually dissipates a little. You know how we
Mm-hmm.
say to ourselves, like, I just need to get started. I mean, I just need to blah, 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 right? It's somewhat true. Like you do just need to blah, blah, blah. You do just need to get started. So big thinkers, okay, realize that they have thought options. That's one of the things I
Mm-hmm.
say. There's like 5 tenets of big thinking, that they have thought options, that they could think, yes, this is totally going to work, right? Versus thinking, I'm not so sure. I mean, nothing's really wrong right now. Maybe we should just stay as we're going right now. It's all okay. But they don't want to stay there. Like they're ambitious. Most of the people I'm coaching, they're high achievers, ambitious people. So they don't like that, like, just stay where I am right now.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. I've never heard the term stuck stress or progress stress for that matter. I like that.
You like that?
I'm
It's in
gonna.
chapter 10 of She Thinks Big if you want to get your copy.
There
There's
you
even a
go.
diagram. There's like a squiggly diagram to show you how it feels and looks.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. All right. So, yeah. So how do people find you, by the way? Like, so we have this successful entrepreneur, and they're in stuck stress, and they don't even know it.
Yep.
How does that person say, I need someone like Andrea?
So, okay, with my marketing brain on, the top 4 drivers marketing, strategies of mine are my own podcast brings people to me, podcast guesting brings people to me, my book brings people to me, and just straight out Googling SEO brings people to me. But what really has to happen for them to actually book a call or say, I think I might need her, okay, is they have to want to transition, right? Like someone's got to realize like, okay, I'm this enough of this. I know and they have to realize that I like to use the analogy, they're stuck in their own peanut butter jar. So they're inside a jar of peanut butter. It's very sticky in there. They can't even like climb up to the rim of the peanut butter jar and look out and see if there are 2 slices of bread or jelly waiting there. They're like so in their own peanut butter jar. They need someone else to see they need bigger perspective. They need to see what's really happening and to help them get out of that jar. So, and they know that, like sometimes I say, like one of my questions is in a consult call is, all right, so what's preventing you from doing X, Y, and Z, or what's preventing you from moving forward? And 99% of the time they just say me, or I'm my own bottleneck. Okay. And they've had it with being their own bottleneck. So that's kind of usually how that happens. So if you're someone that's like, hey, nothing is totally 100, like nothing's wrong in a big sense, but it just doesn't feel right. That
gotcha.
kind of thing. Or we've been like we're profitable, but we are not growing. Right. Okay. Like that kind of thing.
So, if you've heard my show, Andrea, you know that a lot of times I like to put the interviewees on the spot.
Go for it. Tell me.
And show them. And so that way it gives you the opportunity to show the audience your worth and hopefully generate a few calls for yourself.
Okay.
So let's pretend I'm an attorney out there. And
you're a great attorney. You are the great Frank attorney.
I'm a great attorney. But I'm looking for more.
Yep.
Okay. I'm looking for more. Somehow I stumble upon you.
Okay.
Can you tell me 5 things that I would need to know and do in order to maybe even think bigger and create even a bigger achievements that I've been having?
Yep. Okay. 5 things. Number 1, what is your core focus? Like, what is your business focusing on? So you'd be like, I do, estate planning. All right. Or I'm doing, family law. Right. Okay. So it's funny. Okay. But even get more specific than that. Right. Family law. There's like 52 parts of family law. What do you love doing? Okay. What's your core focus and why are you doing it? Okay. So that's kind of that's one question. And a lot of times they'll just say family law and I want to go deeper. Like who are your favorite clients? What are cases that you've worked on that you're like, that was great. Okay. And the reason I say that is because then that impacts really how you're showing up out there in the world and what you're saying and who you're talking to.
Gotcha. Okay. But before you go on to the another one, a lot of times, are you talking to the individual attorney or them as a firm as a whole? Because a lot of times there are other attorneys, partners in there, they're 4 partners or whatever.
Right. And they're all practicing different types of law.
Correct. So, because maybe mine is divorce. And let's say it's a family law firm. Mine is divorce. The other one is child custody, etc. Okay. So that's what I'm asking.
All right. So here's something else that in that case I would need to know. What's your 10-year vision for this firm? Where do you want it to be in 10 years? If we were to paint a really fuzzy picture on the wall, it's kind of like a Renaissance painting, doesn't have to have exact clear lines, but what would you want this to look like? Is this firm still even exist? Have you been bought out? Are you sitting on a beach with your other 3 partners in Florida? Like what's going on? So it's almost like we need to know what island we're going to. It's kind of like a rudder on a ship. I call this 10-year thing. What's the rudder on the ship? Like what's the direction we're moving in? We totally need to know that. We need to know what makes your firm unique. Like, why is someone picking your firm? And I guess this is another question, especially with attorneys. It's, and this differs from practice to practice. Is someone coming to your firm because of the firm, or are they coming to you because of the specific attorney?
Yep. Most of the times, and the attorneys that I've dealt with in the scale, they're going to because of the attorney.
Right. That's what I think too. That's what I think too. So,
unless you're a Morgan and Morgan, then
right.
then everyone's going because of the name.
Right. So, okay. So then that kind of goes then back to my first, like, what's your focus? You, Mr. Attorney, or you, Miss Attorney, right? So, but if we're going from firm wide, all right, where do we see this firm being in 10 years with all four attorneys? We also need to know what makes you unique, what makes the firm unique. Why is this firm going to continue to exist? Is it just because these four people want to work together in the same building? I don't know. We need to know what your core values are as a firm, because now this goes down another layer. Like, you've got paralegals, you've got assistants, you've got staff, you've got all the people below you. We're not going to right the ship or keep moving the ship moving if we don't have those people, the right people in the right seats down there below you, for attorneys. And do those people below you align with what your core values are as a firm? Now, this is different than mission and vision. It's like, almost, I like to say, like, core values are almost like a job description. If you are not X, Y, and Z at your core, then you're not for us. Okay. Like, yes, you can do my case. Okay. Yes, you know how to, prepare some documents to send over to court, but who are you as a human? Okay. So we got to kind of like look at that. You have to know that. And then you do need to know, or we need to come up with, at least, if we've got that 10-year vision, where do we want to be in 3 years? Okay. And that kind of gets more specific. And then what do we need to do this year? What are our 3 to 7 things we want to focus on this year? Right. And I 3 to 7, that could just be 3. It doesn't have to be, 100, because that's then going to help us figure out what you need to be thinking about and doing each and every day. And I kind of then get even more granular. Like, what do we need to be doing this quarter? What do we need to be doing this month? What do we need to be doing this week? And a lot of times it's not the attorney, because the attorney's like, hey, I'm just practicing law. Like, I'm just trying to serve my clients. Okay. So if it's not you kind of growing the firm, then you need to be instilling these things into your people if they're doing the business development piece of the puzzle. I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
My other question based on that answer is, and only because I have a problem with this.
Okay.
How many of your clients have a problem? I'm assuming that is your process, right? What you just outlined.
Yeah. Roughly. Yes.
Okay.
Has some more details included, but
yeah, of course. That's just a high level.
Yeah.
100,000 feet level, right?
Right.
So let me ask you this, and only because I have the same problem. How many of your clients have a problem coming up with a 10-year vision?
A lot.
Yeah, probably all, right?
Yeah. Like, I mean, they might be able to say, like, I don't want to be working in 10 years.
Yeah, but that's nothing.
Okay. But
that doesn't help you.
No, it like that. That's what I'm. So a lot.
Yeah.
A lot have. And so then I kind of say, all right, well, let's just go to 5 years. But really what I want to kind of know is, where do they see themselves in 10 years? How do they want to feel in 10 years? Do they still want to be tied to the desk?
That's a little different. Yeah, that's a little different.
Or do they want to be sitting on the beach? Right? Like, where do they want to be? Yeah. Okay. Or some of them might say, like, I think by that point I want to be bought out, or I don't want it just 4 attorneys. I want this to be 40 attorneys. Like, they can get, and that's all we really need, like the rudder on the ship. Right. So if we're going towards sitting on a beach, we're going to make some different decisions than if we're going towards having a firm with 40 people in it.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your 10-year vision?
I don't know.
What's your 5-year vision? 2029. What's going to happen? Where are you going to be in 2029?
Hopefully on a beach somewhere, to be honest
All
with you.
right. See? So are you still going to
know?
be doing this podcast?
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey guys, I hope you guys are enjoying today's content. While I have you on here, I want to introduce you to a promo that we have going on for the spring of 2024 for all legal practices throughout the U.S. I have an outstanding offer that we've never been able to offer before, but we want to do it because you have been an avid listener. We're only promoting this to people who listen to the show. So if you're an attorney and you are an avid listener to the show and you're thinking about possibly opening your own practice, you want to pay attention to this announcement. We are offering a full website with hosting, SSL certificate, online booking service, online appointment management, and more, and much, much more, with a 1-year maintenance, all for $2,250. That's $2,250 one-time fee, and you have a full-fledged website. If you want to know more about this, just give us a call at 888-416-7752 or send us an email at info@lbmsllc.com. Just make sure that you mentioned that you heard it on the show, and we'll definitely get you that discount. So with that, I'm going to bring you back to the content. Probably. I love podcasting. One of the things that I enjoy doing in my day-to-day is preparing content for this podcast, whether it's interviewing people like yourself or just me doing a solo show. Or interviewing attorneys. I love it because I'm a people person. I like to get out there and talk, and I enjoy it. I mean, look, just think about it. Just 3 months ago, we didn't know each other. Now we're having a conversation about business and
you sitting on a beach.
And so I just enjoy this. Will I give it up? Probably. Maybe I don't. Maybe 5 years from now, I won't enjoy it. I don't know.
I know.
Now, I'm
so
having fun.
So this kind of brings up the question. People are like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, which is totally true. Like, you don't even know what you're going to be doing tomorrow. I mean, you might have an idea, but you really don't. So one of the tenets of big thinking is being okay or embracing the unknown or uncertainty. Like, you're not going to know. Okay. So a lot of times, I mean, and this happens in the legal field in a professional sense, but let's say someone comes to me and they're like, oh my God, Andrea, I totally think I need your help. This sounds like exactly what I need. I'm just going to think about it. Okay. So it's just, I need a few days to just think about it. They'll say, like, right. People say that all the time. I'm just going to think about it. I'm going to, sit on this. Okay. Fair enough. I'm all about thinking, clearly, but I say, can I put my coach hat on for a minute? Sure. What exactly are you thinking about? Like, what's the question that your brain is trying to answer? Okay. 9 times out of 10, they're going to say, am I going to be invested enough in this to put in the work to make these changes that I know I need to make, or that probably Andrea is going to bring to the table?
Those are facts. Those are facts. Because I got to tell you, that would be me.
Right. Okay. So, and good question. I don't know, and you don't really necessarily know, but are you willing to try it out, to see what happens? Like, you're not, if you do nothing, nothing's going to happen, right? Like, nothing's going to change, but and that's why you're here, because you want something probably to change. So we don't know, but can you embrace the unknown? Can you be okay with not exactly knowing?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's also bad putting things off. I always tell the story when a person is on the fence. And it's a kind of a dramatic story, but I'll share it with you.
Okay.
I have a buddy of mine who was going to propose to his girlfriend. She had been fighting and fighting and fighting, when are you going to propose? When are you going to propose? When are you going to propose? Right.
Right.
And he says, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Now, he had the ring probably 6 months before he proposed.
Okay.
I don't know what it was that made him delay, but he delayed nonetheless. And
Okay.
I remember the day before he was going to propose, he says, hey, her name was Andrea as well. As a matter of fact, that's funny. Now I'm thinking about it. He goes, hey, Frank, I'm going to propose to Andrea tomorrow. Long story short, he never got to propose because the day he was going to propose, they had a date that night, happened to be September 11th, 2001.
Okay.
So he never got a chance to propose. So so when people are on the fence, oh, I don't know. I'm like, hey, and you got to take action sometimes.
You do. You do. And I always say, like, what's the worst thing that can happen? What's the worst thing okay, let's talk about the proposed guy. Well, it doesn't work out. We get divorced. Okay. And that doesn't sound very good. No, because you're especially going to need an attorney. You're going to need a family law attorney. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I said, all right, I agree. Doesn't sound so good. But is it worth not doing it all? Because you're thinking, what if I get divorced? See, there's some stuck stress. What if this ends in divorce? I don't want that. Okay. But what if it doesn't? What if it's like the best relationship ever? Like you got to give equal airtime. Talk about like radio and podcasting. You have to give equal airtime to all the possibilities.
Right. That's awesome. Like, I like that.
Yeah. Equal airtime to all the possibilities.
Equal airtime. Man. Yeah. Stuck stress, equal airtime. Man, you're full of these things.
I've been talking about this stuff for a while. So I kind of,
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. How long? I know you mentioned it to me off air, but
yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
So I started this business in 2018. Mm-hmm. But before that, I worked for a company where I was recruiting and hiring and training what really were kind of franchise owners. Mm-hmm. They didn't call them that, but that's really what they were. And they were calling what I was doing training, but really what I was doing was coaching. And the part I love I left after 10 years and, then I hired my first coach actually at that point. And she said, why did you stay there for 10 years? Like there must have been something. And so if I kind of reflected on that, the part I loved the most was when the new, I'll call them franchise owners, when that franchise owner started to see some success and all of a sudden kind of froze in a sense. Like, can I keep this going? Is this really what I want? This is a lot harder than I thought it would be. This has taken way too more time than I thought it would be from me. I thought by this point I would have hired an amazing manager and I would just be, sitting on a beach drinking a margarita, right? Mm-hmm. So that is now what I call I've termed the messy middle, and helping that owner get through the messy middle. And then ironically, what happens, our businesses are cyclical, right? So you get through one thing and then you're on to like the next phase of the business. And that messy middle happens again, right? In that next cycle. But the messy middle relative to the business growth or relative to your now wisdom and knowledge base doesn't feel as overwhelming, mm-hmm. right? So I like to picture these like spirals of our business. Like we spiral up and then we spiral up again and these spirals get bigger and the messy middle stays the same size. So relative to the spiral, it's smaller. So that's what I really loved doing. And so that's when I left that job. I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to do this on my own. I don't need them. So there you go.
So that was the trigger.
That was the trigger. Mm. The trigger, though, the trigger of leaving. Why did I say goodbye? Is because I was getting put in a small box. And my big thinking was I didn't have a chance to act on my big thinking, I'll call it. So after 10 years, I kind of was seeing what was going on out there in the field, we'll call it. And I would come back and be like, hey, what about doing this? Like this XYZ isn't working. What about ABC? And they would say to me, oh yeah, ABC, awesome idea. Let's do it. Well, wait a sec. I'm not sure. Might be a little too risky. We've never done that before. So the joke became, if I had one more great big idea that didn't get put into action, I was out. And so one day I was out. Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I realized I was just kind of like, I was stuck in my own box.
Yeah. Most people are, unfortunately, when they work for corporate.
Yeah.
Question for you though. Let's say I'm in the hunt for a coach.
Okay.
I come across yourself and say two other people.
Mm-hmm.
What's your superpower, if you will? What will make me select Andrea over those other two people?
So I think, well, number one, I think you have to make sure that you have to have the belief that the coach gets you as a human, not just as a business owner, but as a human. Like, do you feel like that person understands what you value and where you want to go? And so that's number one. I think number two is, no matter what their process is, because everybody has different processes, or someone's like, walk me through what this might look like. Sure, I can walk you through what it might look like. Do you think that, because I'm sure all these coaches are going to get you some results. Okay. I'm pretty sure, unless if you did your homework, you wouldn't even be talking to them, right? You think some things might happen when working with them.
I don't know, Andrea. I've come across some pretty cool marketing gurus out there that
True. Okay.
But
they can convince you into things. Okay. That's true. I'll give you that. But there was something that made you reach out to them in the first place, though, right?
True.
Right? Even if it was great marketing. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think that you are going to get enough, I don't want to call it individual time, because I don't necessarily think that's like a key to success, but do you think that this coach is going to be aligned with where you want to go? Like, can they come alongside you? Are they going to be a partner, almost like a employee? Are they going to be a team member? Or are you going to be left out there on your own to sort of flounder? Right? Because some coaches will like dish things out and say, okay, have fun, figure it out. Okay. And you do have to do some figuring out on your own. Like, there's truth to that. But is there a way that you can communicate with that coach so that you're not floundering out there on your own for very long?
Okay.
Right. I think you have to kind of assess like the communication methods of the coach.
What I'm hearing is it's you have to go with your feelings, right?
You totally do. Because okay, so here's a little tool I'm going to teach you or leave you with. There's the facts, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's always facts in a situation. I always say, can we prove it in a court of law? Okay. There's the facts. You have thoughts about the facts, and those thoughts then trigger how you feel. And really, how you feel is going to cause, trigger, create an action or an inaction. So you have to have a feeling of confidence before you say yes. Now, you may not be confident necessarily in yourself. Okay. That's kind of the job of the coach actually is to believe in you a little bit more than you believe in yourself in that moment. But you do have to have confidence in that person on the other side that, yes, I am sure that they can help me.
Okay.
That's the kind of confidence.
Let me ask you this. I'm asking for a friend and for myself, to be frank. No pun intended.
Okay. Haha, that was funny.
Someone is on the fence and they're afraid of making, the investment because they've done this before and they've always failed at it. And it's like, it's always just dumping money. And it had nothing to do with the coach per se. It had to do with them.
Right.
How would you overcome something like that?
What I would say, so I always say, we talked a little about, you said, what are the 5 things that you need to know?
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of what we were kind of talking about is that you need to have an action plan. You need to kind of know where you're going, the rudder on the ship. So I would say, all right, you've probably gotten maybe some action plans from other coaches, but did you have a belief plan?
Mm.
Okay. So what's going on here is that you're not believing in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
that you can do this, that you can make change, that you can move forward, whatever we're trying to do. So I always say, we're going to work on that action plan. So as like an action plan, we get a time plan, but we also need to add in a belief plan, right? So
Mm.
if you believe that something can happen, this kind of goes back to that future you. If you believe something can happen, then the actions and the timing of it all is just going to fall into place. So if you said, I believe I can have a podcast that gets 10,000 downloads a week, I don't know, whatever, okay,
Mm-hmm.
then it's going to cause or trigger you to do certain things, right? It's going to like, who's on my podcast? How am I marketing it, right? The
Mm-hmm.
actions are kind of going to start to formulate themselves versus having the actions and then trying to add on like other belief things afterwards. We've got to work on that belief plan just as much as the action plan.
Yeah.
So that person that you're describing is kind of like, I don't know. I don't know if I can, I mean, I've done this before and it just never worked. Was it never worked or you never worked?
Yeah. No, they're counting that it doesn't work
Yeah.
because of them.
There's three reasons someone like will say no. Okay. One, they don't think the coach has enough, the skill set of the coach. Okay. You're like, no, I think they have a skill set. Number 2 is that they don't think what they're offering is the right thing for them. So if I said to you, well, all we're going to focus on is money management, that might not, you're like, yeah, but I don't think that's what I need. So that might be a no. And then the third thing is that they don't believe in themselves. Those
Yeah.
are really the only 3 reasons that someone says no. They don't think the coach is like the right one for them. They don't jibe. Number 2, what they offer isn't what they need. And number 3 would be they just don't believe in themselves and doing the work.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that you won't work with, Andrea?
Yeah, I won't work. I'll give you an example. Okay. So sometimes on a consult call, I'm like, I don't think this is a good fit. So I won't work with someone who doesn't know if they want to keep moving forward with their business. So I just had a consult call and this woman said, I'm not sure. We might just want to close our doors.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. It's either we like go gangbusters or we close our doors. And that's not the ideal person for me, because if they're even debating that, then there's a lot of hoops we have to jump into because they don't have belief in themselves or in the business or in this service they're offering. So I only want to work with people who are like in.
Okay.
And I get those people like that. Like
so
that
you
happens.
would work if I'm a solo practitioner, let's say, and I just hung my shot, just left the huge law firm. I just left Morgan and Morgan. And I want to start my own firm. You would work with someone like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Because they're like, okay, they're wanting to do it, right? Like, I don't want Morgan and Morgan anymore. I want my own thing.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Gotcha. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. I this is a very, very intriguing interview because I'm a huge advocate of coaching. I've done a ton of coaching myself with some various coaches, and I always found it helpful, me per se. But let me ask you, if would you work with a non-believer, because belief was a big factor in your previous answer of the other question,
right?
If you sense a non-believer,
I would,
is it worth trying to convert them into a believer?
Well, there's a difference between someone saying, I've worked with other coaches before and I just didn't get what I needed out of it. But I still know I want it and need it. Okay. That was kind of how you positioned like your question. So yes, I would work with that person because we're going to figure out why those other things didn't work. And what part of, but if someone's like, I don't even know if I believe in my whole business.
Right.
Okay.
Well, no, not in their whole business and in themselves.
Right. And in themselves. Right. Like,
how do you overcome that? Do you just say, okay, see ya?
I mean, I kind of probably say like, well, either you need a different coach or you need counseling because there's something in your past. So counselors kind of help you navigate the past and get you ready for the present. There's something going on there that you're not even like present and wanting to move forward.
Gotcha.
Which is sort of where coaching comes in.
So you wouldn't tell them, marijuana is now legal in many states. I'm just joking.
Go find a dispensary.
Anyway.
Another answer. That's another answer. Okay.
That's just me being silly as always.
I know.
Okay. This has been a really fun interview. Quick question before I let you go, because I know you're a very busy woman. You mentioned earlier about a book. You kind of snuck that in there, but let's talk about your book. Let me know more about it. Who does it help, et cetera, et cetera.
So the book's called She Thinks Big, The Entrepreneurial Woman's Guide to Moving Past the Messy Middle and into the Extraordinary. So it is split into 3 parts. There's big mindset, big plan, and big results. And it's really aimed at anyone who is an entrepreneur or small business owner who is feeling like they're stuck in that messy middle, right? At any stage of business, beginning, middle, I don't know if there is an end, but doesn't matter where your business is size-wise or development wise. It's because a lot of it really is, I start out with that big mindset. So it's helping you get clarity on what you're really thinking about and why you might be thinking about it and how we can change it. And then I get into, okay, let's make a plan on how we're going to move forward. That's that middle part of the book. And then we talk about, all right, what happens when you have this success? Like things might change. You're a different person. Your business is different. So anyone that kind of falls within any stage of business, but probably feels a little stuck in stuck stress.
Awesome.
Yeah. So and it can be men too. Yeah. It's for humans, all humans.
But given the title, I'm assuming a lot of guys probably won't pick that book up.
Probably not, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll still love them. It doesn't matter.
I'm sure. All right. So, and what is the website where people can get a hold of you?
So the best way is to go to Andrea's with an S, links with an S, Andrea's links with, and from there you can find a link to the book to purchase the book and the workbook, or you can find it at any bookseller or Amazon too. You can find a link to my podcast, Time to Level Up. You can find a link to a quiz that's going to help you figure out why you might be stuck. It's a good place to start. And it'll be a link to my website where you can, and a link to book a call if you want to chat. I'm always open to conversations.
Awesome. So I will put that in the show notes for sure, so that people can hang out with the great Andrea. But before I let you go, is there anything I did not ask you that you think will benefit the audience?
I think here's something to kind of like a nugget to leave you with.
I love nuggets, and the audience loves nuggets. Yes.
Okay.
Shoot.
So being an entrepreneur is really a journey in personal development disguised as an entrepreneurial adventure.
Ooh.
Okay, so we think it's all going to be adventurous, right? We're ready. We're ready, buckle up. And it is an adventure, but really what it is a journey in your own personal development. Your business is only going to grow as fast as you grow as a human and your thinking changes.
That is phenomenal. Never heard that before.
There you go.
That was worth listening to the end, folks.
It was. Stay to the end. See, in your intro, you can be like, stay to the end.
Definitely. I will definitely say that in the intro, because that was awesome. And a lot of people will miss out if they don't stay. So with that, I'm going to put an end to this episode. Thank you very much, Andrea, for accepting my invitation. This has been Frank Deming, the local business guy, and you guys just been blessed by the great Andrea Liebross. Take care, everyone.
Great, Deming. Thank you.
That was great. Thank you.
Okay.
Take care, everyone. Until next week.
listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Law Firms, the podcast that provides you with all the latest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you would like to know more about the topic we discussed on the show today, reach out to Frank and his team at 888-416-7752 and schedule a discovery call with one of the marketing consultants. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, send an email to podcast@lbmsllc.com and we will put you on the schedule. With that being said, until next week, make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.